crypto asset? Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
This is Discover Crypto, and every day on this channel, we teach you how to make money with crypto and digital assets. And we got a very special day today. Bitcoin hit a new all-time high last night, and it looks like XRP is poised for a breakout, and ETH is about to give us altcoin season. We've been waiting. We're going to talk about the Bonk token. We're going to talk about that launch. Is it over? Also, the Pump token. Should you buy in? Should you ape in? Should you be trading it? Would you long it? Would you short it? And we're going to be talking to the chat as well. Get some of your questions in today because it's a very special DZ episode day. I got the light jacket on because I'm just feeling light and breezy, everybody. And I feel even more light and breezy if you go ahead and smash the like button. Now, let's go ahead and look at the Bitcoin price chart here, because Bitcoin, you can see right there on, on a 7-minute chart. Let's go to the 1 minute. Nice little pump last night, trying to peel back a little bit there. You can see, we just took off like a rocket. We were talking about that support in yesterday's live stream, and it looks like the Bitcoin gods listened to the yellow line there and decided to bounce. Right now, we're just kind of stuck in a consolidation range. But once we zoom out, let's say maybe the 1 hour chart here, you can see, Bitcoin on most exchanges wicked in a little bit higher than right here, and you can see that's about as close as possible. And then once we really start stretching it out, you can see, all right, look at that, brand new all-time high, 112.06, 112.16, $10. Everybody smash that like for a nice little $10 brand new all-time high. In fact, I knew it was close. I didn't know it was that close to the previous all-time high. But you know what? A $10 pump is a $10 pump, and we're going to take that. And Johnny December, thank you very much. Not in the chat, but you're listening. Well, I'm listening to you, and I'm inside your mind right now. All right, let's look at some of these larger time frames that we were talking about. Of course, there's the head and shoulders pattern that we identified. I think Caleb Franzen pointed this out first. We still got a little bit of room to grow for this right shoulder to confirm, to hit the neckline, because you can see the neckline is at a slight angle. And so this is going to give us as we hit a little bit below new all-time highs, can kind of get a little bit of extra juice here. Now there is a target. Let's repeat the target here. If you don't know how the head and shoulders breakout target will work, you'll go from the neckline to the top of the head. Maybe I'm $5 short there. We'll just allow it. And that's going to give us a potential $147,000 Ethereum. Now, people are asking about double top, see you in 4 years. I am not inclined to believe it's the double top just yet. Now, we hit $10 higher and then started to go lower up. That's confirmation for me. That's all I needed. I'm not going to go ahead and put my chips on the short table just yet. There's still a lot of technical patterns pointing at higher levels, and we'll talk about those levels in a little bit after we talk about XRP. Do we have some XRP holders in the chat? I wonder if we do. I think we do. I think there's at least 2 of you, and I know one of them is Miguel Gonzalez. He is in the XRP army from Las Vegas. Are you in the tunnel? Are you in the tunnels right now? Get out if it rains. I shouldn't joke about that. All right, let's look at XRP, everybody. Then we're going to go back to Bitcoin. And then we'll talk about your altcoins, everybody here. So XRP rally finally breaking out after the news we covered, which was the Ripple BNY Mellon deal. BNY Mellon, of course, is America's oldest bank based out of, you guessed it, New York. The B is not for Brooklyn. We're Brooklyn at, though. BNY Mellon deal with XRP, and it's related to their stablecoin. So XRP has now jumped 12% after the BNY Mellon news there, and traders are betting on increased utility for XRP's stablecoin. It is called RLUSD, Ripple Labs US dollar. US stands for United. Adoption potentially shifts from Ethereum to the XRPL, which is the ledger, which is the blockchain for XRP. Now, bullish chart patterns are suggesting XRP could rally 287 or even 372. And we're looking at the stablecoin metrics here. It's gone live on both ETH and XRPL, but approximately 87% is still on Ethereum. And so if you're XRP, it's not the best look. You need to get more of this stablecoin on the XRPL. It looks like that's what they're trying to do here. Now, some analysts, including Crypto Airy, suggest that the long-term value lies in the native present on the XRPL and a potential shift from Ripple's ecosystem. I would largely agree with this. If XRP maintains $4 out of $5 are trading on Ethereum, why would you hold XRP over Ethereum? That would maybe want, you're just going to want to get Ethereum at that point. And so we definitely want to see a shift here. As that happens, I would say XRP is a little bit more valuable, but we got some targets. We got some targets for XRP here. It is now broken above a neckline of its own head and shoulders pattern on the daily chart, giving us a bullish reversal setup. Now, it's a little difficult to see with the daily. Some of the wicks are closing on the shoulder. It's a little bit hard to see. So I think I did a 4-hour chart on this. So let's look at the 4-hour chart. As this one right here. XRP looking at something very similar to what Bitcoin did. But XRP has broken out of the neckline here. And so let's go ahead and give ourselves an XRP target for this neckline. And something about yeah, you see that right there, right? Trading Views update, like added that on there. Like, no, I just want to drag the freaking chart around, but you're trying to stop the shine here. All right, so let's go ahead and measure this. I think I went a little bit high on the head there. All right, let's give us our breakout target. Drum roll, please. If Trading View allow me to shift, 273. So largely agreeing with what the article was saying there. I hadn't done it yet to come from me a little confirmation there. If you guys had to pick 3 coins this bull cycle, what would they be? Not including Bitcoin, ETH, or Solana, and you had 50K, what would you be buying? I would be buying what I have been buying. And actually, let me update that. During the dip, we bought a lot of Aave. I upped my Aave exposure, ended up being, a considerable part of my portfolio because I was able to execute dip buying just so well there. So let's actually get a coin Gecko. We actually kind of skipped that today. Aave is way up recently here. So that leads me to maybe some of the other tokens. I'm loving what I'm seeing with Avalanche. I'm loving what I'm seeing with Chainlink on the charts. Obviously, I'm very biased towards Cardano. And I also think SWE could be doing very well. So I would be looking at those coins right there. And I would be looking at those coins priced in other assets. So I look at SWE compared to Bitcoin, see if there's still some room to run. I'll look at Avalanche priced in ETH. We've done that. It looks very bullish on that chart. And Cardano, I would price in Bitcoin as well, or maybe even look at ADA dominance. And so some of the things I would be checking out. Hype, it's moved a lot quickly. I don't know if I could recommend that one, but that's what I would go with. And honestly, I don't hate just boring old Tesla stock at the end of the day sometimes too. All right, now I am curious. What's the big movers today? Pengu is up 29%, and Fart is up 10% right now. And SWE with the 10% pump. We were trading that coin yesterday. God, I should have just opened along and went to sleep, even though that's super risky. And Pepe with a nice little pump here, a little pump pay, more like it. And Bonk. I mean, we're seeing a lot of meme coins do well. SPX 6900. Tao's doing well, Hype's doing well. But what's doing poorly, that's going to be a token exchange, and then a decentralized exchange, and a centralized exchange here. And so it looks like we're seeing some little bit of a pullback. But Aave, when we were buying during the dip roughly 3 months ago, let me go to price here. We did buy some below $150. I feel pretty good about that. And right now trading at 300. So when Bitcoin dipped to 75.80, I was deploying capital into Aave. Well, Bitcoin's up to 112 now. All right, cool. So from 80 to 112, 32 you're looking at about a 25% pump right there. Aave's up 100%. And so I feel pretty good. And I mean, if you bought the Pico bottom, you're way up. You got in at 124. So I mean, you're a stone's throw away from tripling your money right there. So if you bought Bitcoin at 80, you need a $240,000 to triple your dollars there. Aave ended up being a little bit easier. So, Chad, I'm gonna read some of yours. Some of you guys saying HBAR, XRP, Axelar, interesting. ICP, a lot of ICP fans. SWE, XRP, Link. So we see a little overlap there. Buy some ADA, XRP, ICP. He just like his tokens to end in the P. How about PP? No, I meant Pepe. Link, Ava, and ADA. I don't know if he meant AVAX there. ETH, Sol, too, as well. ZBEC. That one, I'm not so sure if I'd get in on Z-Back. That's older coin. You've been able to buy that one on Coinbase for years and years and years. And Arrow. Don't forget Arrow and Ondo and DAG. Also some pretty good coins there with some pretty good charts. And if Steve-O likes Arrow, he's dipped under the hood. He's looked at DeFi Llama and he's liking what he's seeing there. Let's get back to XRP. Let's keep looking at some of these XRP targets. Milky Bull Crypto, one of the more interesting names in on CT crypto Twitter here. The breakout is coming alongside a bullish confirmation on the 3-day chart. I think we have that right here. We pointed out this a while ago, and we also have a similar structure on XRP BTC that we've been charting for a while. And on the 3-day chart, this is a multi-month consolidation. We've been coiling under this line for 165 days. This is a long time to act as resistance. Resistance. Can you feel the resistance? Can you feel it? And then finally broke through. So this is looking quite bullish. I think Milky has a target here. And it looks like XRP finally breaking out, and he's going to do just the classical TA move where you measure the max distance, the max vertical distance on the wedge. And then from the breakout, you move that over there. So let's go ahead and do that, right? So we got to go ahead and, I guess, draw a bottom line here. We're not even going to worry. We're just going to slap something down. And we're going to say it was right here. And you can see we touched the bottom first. You got to touch both sides. So we can't measure this line all the way to here, right? Well, touched here. You got to wait till you touch the bottom. You got to wait till you touch the top. That gives you your distance. And then that's going to give us, looks like new all-time highs to me, chat, 354. If we go to the weekly chart for XRP, I'm on XRP USD on Coinbase. That's why. So XRP looking like it poised, technically speaking, for a new all-time high in the near future there. So pretty bullish XRP. I said we were going to look at XRP BTC as well. So let me, do I have that after this? Yeah, I have it right here. So let's do a couple more targets and we'll look at the last XRP chart and then we'll get into Bitcoin here. Analysts are also giving us $4 to $6 token. Z-Back used to be. That's what I'm saying. Do my research. Open up Coinbase and you look at every coin now, says Smokey McPherson. You were smoking too much, McPherson. You could buy Z-Back on back in the day. I might be wrong, but I'm fairly certain of that. All right, let's see. So this founder of B2 Ventures, Arthur, he's always like balling his fist up. He said the token's likely to move towards a new local high around 265. Since XRP's been in accumulation for quite a long time, the outlook remains positive. He says a clean breakout from the range could push it to the $4 to $6 range. And I think we get some of these numbers. You got to switch to a log chart. Now, let's go to XRP BTC. We pointed this out. I think Sistine Research pointed this out on the 4-hour chart. XRP price in Bitcoin just kept beating against this resistance, kept beating. It was like the drums of Moria, it was like a goblin, just keep beating the drums. Finally pierced the leather veil and started to burst to the upside. We pointed this out yesterday. So 6 4-hour candles ago, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So actually what happened, we pointed out the breakout. We came down, did a clean retest, the very clean retest. Great opportunity to long XRP, in my opinion, and then started to move to the upside. And not only did we break this basically resistance level, we also have a downtrend. I think it's a multi-month downtrend, similar to what we saw with the BTC, or I'm sorry, the USD chart. And so this downtrend started 128 days ago. So we got XRP breaking out of these over 100-day resistance zones. Once XRP breaks past these long time frame resistance zones in our recent history, in XRP's history, it shocks people with sometimes the most hated rallies. So you can hate XRP, but you need to recognize the pump. You got to respect the pumpamentals, to quote Ivan on there. So if you're not respecting XRP pumpamentals, you're going to be missing out. I definitely want to short that token because the XRP community, they're fanatics, they're lunatics, and they're zealots. And they will be irrational longer than you can be solvent there. So keep an eye out on XRP breaking ahead here. You heard it here first. Now let's talk about Bitcoin. New all-time high Everybody feels good. Smash that like button if you're liking the new all-time high. Shout out to Sam, the carpet man. He's taller in real life than you'd expect there. People raining on the XRP parade. Oh, XRP holders will get a whole 0.5x. 50% pump is nothing to sneeze at, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a 2x for a token with that large of a market cap. I choose to be impressed. That's how I look at it there. Scalp all rats and snakes. Don't talk about hex like that. All right, let's go and move forward here. Bitcoin soars to new all-time highs above 112. Room 112 where the players dwell as traders liquidate their shorts. I mean, that's what happens when you bet against Bitcoin sometimes, baby. Bitcoin soared to a new record high driven by glowing global investor demand for risk assets and a $200 million liquidation of shorts near a critical overhead structure, resistance level. Well, I pulled it up right here. This is Binance. We chose to look at the world's largest exchange. And right now, there's more magnets to the downside that are close, that are trying to pull Bitcoin down to 110K. But I would say the largest liquidity sweep is going to be roughly about 43 million here. I'm trying to move the mouse real slightly. 56 million here, 56.9. We're literally looking at $100 million in liquidations. Just these two little vertical stripes here. That's going to be pennies, technically $11.62. Basically right there at $113,000. A lot of shorts are going to be triggered, but by that time, it's going to be more bright lines above that line as Bitcoin goes ahead. So keep an eye out on this, literally like right at 113 level. Looks like Bitcoin wants to go to that level. Now, we might liquidate some longs first, though. Now, the price momentum is benefiting from a reset in over-leveraged participants that created a healthier foundation for continuation. So this guy wants to sound smart so bad. The convergence between on-chain accumulation and off-chain exchange order flows paint a compelling picture. This rally has been built on solid ground, supported by real capital flows rather than short-lived speculative leverage. Basically, he's saying this pump is not due to degens trying to trade. This is supported by institutional inflows into Bitcoin. And so what we're seeing here is it's the micro strategies, it's the governments of the world, it's the whales, just accumulating more and more Bitcoin, raising debt, selling traditional finance assets like stocks so they can buy more Bitcoin. Now, the uptrend since Liberation Day on the 2nd of April has been driven by its growing recognition as a safe haven asset. It's been outperforming as well as increasingly decoupling on days when the S&P 500 corrected. So it's been supported by the increasing status as a safe haven asset in the face of fiat debasement. Also confirmed by the first U.S. state signing a Bitcoin reserve bill into law following the federal Bitcoin reserve established by executive order. And so, yeah, I didn't even mention that part. Not only is it public companies, private companies, it's freaking governments, the U.S. government, state governments accumulating more and more Bitcoin. And look how happy that guy is as he is in the metaverse. I don't know what he's doing there. All right, now, whoa, that's a big bull. I wasn't expecting that. This one metric suggests Bitcoin has plenty of room left to run. I just wanted to get into the details here first, and maybe I'll read a couple. We're talking about MVRV. Let's see here. Where is Josh? I don't know about confirmed. Josh is, he did a late stream, and he was doing a lot of trading later. So he's going to be potentially dropping a vlog tonight. So keep an eye out on that one. When meme coin, call it DZ nuts. Don't know if I'll be launching a meme coin anytime soon, but I do got a book coming out, and I've been thinking about my book a lot. I was talking to Big Pay from Cardano and the Atrium team. And I was talking to someone else about a book. It was a younger guy that helps us with social media, and I got to get that thing out there. I have a book that is written. I just got to do little things like formatting. I'm pretty sure the spelling is there, but maybe the punctuation might be a little bit off, and I got to figure out how to upload into basically an NFT portal. I got to do some research. And I also want to make a bunch of covers. So I got to like dust off my old Photoshopping skills. So I've just been dragging my feet on my book, but the book is coming, everybody. It is written. If you love DAG, you'll love ZBCN, great utility. People don't know it yet. Thank you there, Wisdom Worm. Let's see here. I thought it was just the EU that required brokers for crypto. Oh, I got something crazy about OTC deals right after this article here. And last comment, we'll jump back in. And Nope, not the last one. DZ's the man. I appreciate it very much. Drop the book. All right, I'll work on it. I might even take a day off work the next week or two, maybe on my birthday, work on my book. XRP dorks everywhere. Well, were they a dork when they bought it under $1? You called them a dork then. How does it feel? All right, let's talk about the MVRV score here. It's currently at 2.4. Okay, and what does that mean? Well, that's well below the level seen at previous market tops. Typically, it hits 7 before we start seeing significant sell pressure. So this hints at further upside potential for Bitcoin. This points to we still got room left to roll. We still got room to run. So let's just go straight to the MVRV score. CoinDesk actually gave a erroneous definition of MVRV score. They explained market value correctly, but they didn't explain realized value. And I don't even know if I want to get into it, but CoinDesk, that's like the second or third time I want to say in the past week, I'm like, this isn't even accurate. So CoinDesk, you got to start buttoning up things. You got to start hiring better editors or something. I don't mean to call out the author here. I'm going to do it though. I'm calling out the author. James Van Stratton, weren't you on Dawson's Creek? Is that the same guy? I think that's the same guy. It's not the same guy. All right. So the MVRV score, here's where they got it wrong, I guess. So the market value, yeah, we know the market value or the market cap. So it's what's the cost of a token? How many tokens are there? All right, cool. All right, that's the market cap. All right, we got that basically. But the realized value, where is it? Did I pass it? Yeah, realized value here, which reflects cumulative capital inflow into the asset, has historically market tops. That's not the realized value. It's not the cumulative capital inflow into the asset. It is the most recent capital inflow into the asset. It is what the assets traded at the last, or the price it was the last time it was traded, not cumulative. So if I buy Bitcoin for $1, sell it to you for $10, you sell it back to me for 100. I sell it back to you 1,000. You sell it to me for 10,000, and then I sell it to you for 100,000. We don't add all that up for realized value. We only measure the last transaction. So CoinDesk, I just want to point that out, just in case people are reading some of this and then thinking MVRV is something different here. So I just want to educate everybody who might not be aware. So the MVRV score right now is 2.4. Past bear market lows is registered scores below 0. 15, 19, 22. Always a great time to buy when the MVRV is in the negative. It's historically been true. We'll probably we'll be below 0.5 next cycle. I don't know if we can get into the negative, because when it dips in the negative, it isn't like long and it isn't much. You see the last cycle, we barely did it there. And so meanwhile, the cycle tops historically gives us scores of 7 or higher. And that's what happened in 17, happened in 2021, happened twice in the previous cycle there. You can see it right there. And so we are still a ways away. Now, I am not betting on MVRV hitting 7 this cycle. You can see where it was in the 2017 cycle. That thing was above 10. It was above 10. Then last cycle, it barely got above 7. Failed to crack 8. 8's the dotted line right there. So didn't even hit 8. And then this cycle, I personally, seeing the decline of really close to 11, from 11 to 7. I don't think we stay at 7, like 7.8 maybe. So maybe keep an eye out for the 6 range, maybe even 5. I don't think, we might just kind of continue a megaphone pattern with the MVRV score here there. So there you go, folks. There's your MVRV breakdown. All right, this is the shady thing I was talking about with OTC. Coinbase unlocks off-exchange settlement, not for me or you, for institutions amid high demand. So there is a high demand for people to secretly acquire Bitcoin. Think about that for a second. Coinbase has high demand of people secretly acquiring Bitcoin that's not trading on exchanges. Maybe it's a guy in an alley. Hey, I got some rare things on sale, stranger. And it's a bunch of Arculus cold wallets. And then you buy it, and then he just hands you the wallet, and you check it yourself, and you give him a pallet of gold bricks. Maybe it was in Fort Knox 2 years ago. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Who knows what's in there? It's empty, probably, allegedly. More than likely. But so what are we seeing here? So they integrated with this company called Copper Clearloop, and they're offering institutional clients access to off-exchange settlement amid high demand for more efficient and secure trading infrastructure. That's not the real reason. They want to keep it secret. The integration is regulated by Bermuda. So the okay, I don't want to disparage the Bermudan government, but when you think of shady businessman, all right, think of this. Jurassic Park, the first one. Let's go back to 1996. Newman from Seinfeld. He stole the DNA from the amber that was encrusted around a mosquito. This mosquito had dinosaur DNA. This man stole that DNA and sold it to a third party. Where did he go? He went to the Bermudas. I think, I don't know, but that's where you're going to see. You're going to see shady individuals. All right, let's meet me in this Bermuda hotel. Come to my room. And then, you open the trench coat and it's like, all right, here's your thumb drive. And so, again, I don't want to talk despairingly about Bermuda here, but yeah, it's regulated under Bermuda Monetary Authority and available exclusively with USDC. Now, what's not mentioned, the USDC could also be transferred off exchange or off chain. You can put the USDC on a thumb drive. All right, I got the Bitcoin thumb drive. You got the USD thumb drive, and then we swap, and then we do the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers handshake there. So very, very, I don't want to say it's not suspicious. It's dark and hidden. And it just reminds me of that whole island. So I'm just going to move forward here. Let's talk about Bitcoin treasuries here. So we finally got the Q2 numbers. It's July 10th. Q2 ends 6:30. So it took us about 10 days. The quants, the dorks, the analytic masters, the maestros, they have now determined how much corporate Bitcoin buying pressure was there actually. And so 159,000 Bitcoin brings the total to 847,000. And the current price is $17.6 billion. Quarterly increase of 23% quarter on quarter. So we're seeing about 4% of the 21 million now captured by corporations. And the number has also jumped sharply. 46 new firms have entered the space, bringing the total to 125. This is a 58% increase quarter over quarter. So we're seeing corporations just pile in. They're falling in. They're rushing in. And it reminds me of that old Simpsons meme where the doctor takes the x-ray and then the doctor and the nurse, maybe x-ray technician, they're like, all right, you ready for your x-ray? I think it's the dentist. And then as they like hit the button and they like run out of the room and they're scrambling. It's a mad dash. That's what's happening to the Bitcoin network right now is a scramble. It's a mad dash. And you know what they're running from? They're not running from radiation. They're running from the US dollar because it's basically fried as well. All right. When insider trader info, man, you need to just figure out where they do this like thumb drive to thumb drive swap and just sit in the lobby. And then you can maybe front run some news there. Oh my God, that's a CFO of this publicly traded company. Let me buy their stock. All right. I can only think of one mansion with cracked eggshells and moldy showers because SBF and Caroline aren't cleaning that up. I have an SBF story or a SBF post here. Let's see here. When I get rich, I'll start Jurassic Park. I'll build a road through I haven't started some of these, so I just kind of jump in and throw it up. So if you guys can drive your own get rich Lambos around it for a fee, I want a golf cart. I want to feel the fear. U.S. Treasury removes crypto broker reporting rules. Bloomberg reports there. So, all right. And last one, and then we'll move forward here. You're wild when you hit the like buttons, everybody. DZ looking like Pitbull, Mr. International. Pitbull wish he looked like DZ. I got like a foot on that guy. Hold on, man. Let's see here. All right, I'm not 6'9", but I got a good more than half. That guy's short. And honestly, if it says 5'9", it's probably 5'7", 5'6". So yeah, no, there ain't no way. Do I really? That was a bad hand gesture. I cannot believe it. That was a microphone. God dang it. All right, now who holds? That one made me. Why did I do that? Bitcoin rich list. Who holds the most Bitcoin? It's just we're just gonna show like 5 entities here. They're a little bit smaller than I thought, actually, if I'm going to be honest. So at the top of the rich Bitcoin addresses, they're not individuals. except for Satoshi. Actually, he has a bunch of different wallets, but the massive cold wallets ran by the crypto exchanges. Leading the pack, Binance's primary cold wallet, they got two, currently holds 248,000 Bitcoin, 1.25% of the circulating supply. It is a $26 billion wallet address there. Glassnode says wallet data and trackers like BitInfo charts and Coin, it is the largest Bitcoin wallet, period. The wallet's infrequent but significant transactions point to long-term reserve management, not trading. The largest Bitcoin wallet in the world belongs to CZ. Next, Robinhood cold wallet, 140,000 Bitcoin. It's about 15 billion. Followed by Bitfinex's cold wallet, 130,000. And then Binance cold wallet number 2, 115K. And then we have a government-held wallet, 94,000 Bitcoin. And Bitfinex hack, I believe, is that the husband and wife? The wife like rapped, I think. Razzlecon, maybe, I think. So someone fact check me on that one there. So there you go. There are the 5 largest wallets. And think, that could have been you with a laptop in 2009, 2010. What did you decide to do instead? You played World of Warcraft. You played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You picked your nose and you did nothing but smell your own farts, and you could have had a wallet with 100,000 Bitcoin. Now, I'm talking to myself, of course. That's my morning routine. I scream that exact phrase into the mirror. Then I wipe my tears. All right, let's get into the comments here. All right. If you shake it more than twice, you are you got me with the breaking news. You got me with the breaking news there. All right. I actually have a hot take on that. Every 5 years after the age of 20, you must add 1 second. It's the DZ. I don't want to give it a name. Never mind. But yeah, so at 20, you're basically done. At 25, you got to shake for a second. 30, you're shaking for 2. 35, 40, you're at 4. By the time you're 60, you're there for like 8 seconds. And that's the I'm not even. I was going to give it a name. We're not going to give it a name. That's not a thing. That's not going to be a thing. All right. He looks raw. I haven't done a raw in a while. There you go. All right. Last members of crypto Twitter who weren't already short Bitcoin, they've now shoved all in. They're like the beginning of Roseanne, pushing in all the chips, laughing as chips fall out of your mouth. They've shoved all in short, thinking they nailed the double top. This is going to be so beautiful to watch. Some of you right now watching, you think this is a double top. Your prediction, it's a double top. My prediction, it is not. This is not the peak, and we're not going to diverge that far from a 4-year cycle where we peak. Historically, we should be peaking in October of this year. We're not going to deviate by a matter of 2-3 months there. I don't think so. I don't think so here. The DZ drizzle. That's a good one. The shake it off. It's a good roll, man. It's a good roll. And extra shake for khaki pants. That's a good roll as well, man. I think I have my second book in works. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin. Just did a major move here. It has now surpassed Google to become the 6th largest asset in the world by market cap. More miles. 38 miles per. Get out of here. Here's Bitcoin passing Google, 2.2 trillion. Google's 2.134. Next up, the Grim Reaper meme knocking on all the doors. Amazon at 2.346. Amazon would be higher if you didn't send Katy Perry to space. Apple down to up to 3.1. Microsoft 3.7. And NVIDIA. Shout out to NVIDIA. They hit 4 trillion at one point today. It was up slightly pre-market, I believe. And so the first public company to ever hit a $4 trillion valuation. Huge news right there. And Tesla, we're bullish on Tesla. Tesla will continue to climb. And it looks like it is the biggest gainer of the day. It is up 3.3, smoking the rest of the competition. No one's really moving more than 1 to the upside and more than 1 to the downside there. So Bitcoin, I heard something smart from Kelly. We're talking about when does retail get excited. I'm like, my thesis is no price point will make retail excited. We used to lie to ourselves and say 100K Bitcoin retail's in. Oh, well, no, maybe it's just new all-time high. Maybe it's only 70K Bitcoin retail's in. That one kind of worked. I think it was more BlackRock than anything then. Then, oh, no, well, it's 150. No, it's 200. It's $1 million. That's when we're just like kind of making up numbers at this point. I don't think retail gets excited about Bitcoin ever again. I don't think it ever will. But Kelly threw out an interesting point. When Bitcoin passes Nvidia, maybe that's when we'll see a renewed interest in at least talking about Bitcoin, whether it's finance news, Wall Street Journal articles, etc. Maybe that's a good mark of when retail will be like, oh yeah, I heard about it yesterday. Because right now no one's talking about it there. Record what sound? Did I say something stupid? All right. Always. Treasury removed crypto broker. Yeah. So, all right. So it seems like we got news. Treasury has removed crypto broker reporting rules per Bloomberg News. Is this so World Liberty Fi can be nefarious? I don't know. I hope that's not something like that there. XRP chart shows it all. One of the worst coins out there. That is not true, Pepe. If you look at XRP price in Bitcoin, it's actually one of the best charts out there, price in Bitcoin. XRP and Tron look really good price in Bitcoin compared to an ETH, an ADA. Solana looks okay, an HBAR, a Chainlink. All those look like dog crap compared to Bitcoin. XRP and Tron actually look pretty decent. Let's see here. Josh is he's punching the air in his Tesla right now. That's what he's doing. Now I did have a post. I guess I'll highlight it here. Josh had a pretty funny post here. So let's see here. We go. Boom. What did I? How I feel checking my ADA bags. I do have some news here. Cardano's Night token, back in napkin math here. Potential $10 billion market cap. There's 24 billion tokens. I don't know why I didn't see anyone else do this math. Like, oh, God dang it, you're going to make me bust out the calculator. We might see 42 cents per night, and you'll get close to a 1-to-1. So if you have 10,000 ADA, you're going to get like 9,000 Night tokens. I think 1,250 equals 10,200. And so it's like 0.89 or something like that. So this is Josh's post. I bought a bag of ADA. We are brothers now, DZBTC. You think that's funny, Josh? You think that's funny? I'm bringing you up when you're not here to defend yourself. So I had to do it back. I had to do it back about Ondo. Should I start coloring in my eyebrows like that, chat? Let me know in the comment section now. Should I start coloring in my eyebrows? Give myself more of that va-va-voom look there, So, hey, so I decided to buy more Ondo, like my brother. It's Joshua Jake there. So, a little fun little aside there. All right, now we're talking about assets. This is similar to me as the MVRV because it kind of talks about whales' behavior as price hits certain points. And they're like, God dang, man, I'm just so deep in profit. Long-term holders usually will begin dumping once their returns exceed 300%. Right now, they're only at 215% above cost basis. We're now in the range between orderly profit taking and potential long-term holders dump. And you can see it right here. This one, not quite 300. It's hit 296. Boom, got a nice little price decline in Bitcoin. This is when it hit from, the 74 to 59 hellscape range. Then we had that other pump where it went from, 100 and change all the way down to like around 74. And that also was preceded by LTH around that 300% range. They went all the way to 357. If you look at the 300% mark, that means you basically, boom, it happened right here. That means you sold right here. You did pretty good. You pretty much got in, essentially near enough to the top there as far as selling. So LTH, maybe another metric to put that in the thinking cap there. All right, it hits $5. You do it, deal. Hell yeah, I'm selling some ADA at 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to scale in. You need to scale out. If you think DZ's waiting for a $5 ADA to sell ADA, you are wrong. If you think I'm waiting for $6.90, you're wrong. You think I'm waiting for $4, you're wrong. You think I'm waiting for all-time high, you're wrong. I'll probably scale some into Bitcoin at $2. I'll definitely scale some into Bitcoin at $3. And I'll scale a lot into stablecoin at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if it goes to 8. I don't know if it goes to 7. I don't know if it goes to 4. No one knows anything. I don't know if a heat wave is going to, strike me down and I'm going to melt in the asphalt because it's so warm in Georgia. But that's my profit taking strategy there. So yeah, just hate to burst. $6. You got to sell on the way up and you got to sell on the way down there. Or then you start buying near bottoms there. Let's see here. Jeezy. Okay. That's right. That was my Jeezy ad lib. Josh looks like Chicken Little. I mean, so what do I look like? Worse. Let's see here. Inverse, Mr. Pepe. ADA will top out 487. 131, that's going to be matching the previous local high reached after Donald Trump. It spiked up to $1.31 in December 24, if I'm not mistaken, on the 12th at 4 p.m. No, ADA will not top that high. No one thought it'd go from 2 cents to $3, and it did. No one thought it'd go from 25 cents to $1.25, and it did it very quickly. And so be careful sleeping on XRP, be careful sleeping on Cardano, and be careful sleeping on Ethereum. You think those market caps can't move quickly? They can move quickly, folks. Let's see here. Virtual is getting ready for liftoff. Probably, I think NVIDIA pumping is going to help them as well. Does Pepe go to all-time high this cycle? I do think so. I think Pepe is going to take a lot of the mind share. People asked me about Shiba Inu today, and I said, I think the people that are going to buy Shiba Inu in 2021, they're going to buy Pepe in 2025, and I still stick by that thesis. I would have kind of minted it after Trump meme coin. I think the Pepe meme coin buyer and the Trump meme coin buyer is a very large overlap on the Venn diagram. So that's, now that the hype is out of Trump, maybe Pepe can start moving. So that's what that little frog needed. All right, now what the heck kind of ad is that? What's going on there? We have Bitcoin breaking out. Oh, I just want to give you a Peter Brandt technical price target. I'm not going to go into the whole article here. Scroll. First projection shows 120,000 Bitcoin and $134,000 Bitcoin. And so what he is doing here is he's measuring from the low of this downward parallel channel. That's when we hit, the 70s. And then he measures the peak until the next trough. And he's saying, this is going to give us some pretty nice little targets. I don't hate this TA whenever you see it. And so 2 targets, 120, 134. So if it hits these targets, Peter Brandt, you're a very, very smart individual there. Now, M2 suggests much higher, however. Says it's lagging by 20%. If the correlation holds, should teleport to 130K. So 130 is going to be the M2 targets there. Now let's finally switch gears and talk about altcoins. And then I don't care. I'm talking about ADA again. I'll bring up ADA every 5 minutes here. Pepe will pass XRP easily. It's in your name. I almost want to go... let's see. I'm not going to. I was like, going to his chin. Is that the real one? Ether rallied to 3K this week. Highly likely. Here is why. Where are we currently? ETH is 2,770. All right. So we're getting there. What's this small time frames looking like for Bitcoin? How's Bitcoin acting? Bitcoin acting a fool? Bitcoin's being all right. It's being okay here. All right. We're in a couple of meme coin longs, very, very small longs, unless they dump during this live stream. I have just very, very small entries with like 2 or 3 entries coming in below these entries, just to lower the average entry cost. And then, make sure we're protected to the downside. I have not been checking them. So, easily could have just got liquidated there. But we did some smaller ranges. But let's talk about ETH again. So close above 2,700, first time in a month. The declining Bitcoin dominance and a pivotal 3-day window for ETH could confirm the start of an altcoin season. Not the altcoin season, but a altcoin season. Now, Swissblock emphasized a critical 72-hour window. Says if ETH holds strong, it marks the true onset of alt season. The shift aligns with the declining dominance of Bitcoin, historical sign of altcoin surges. Some of the reasons, net inflows from Wall Street, positive for 8 consecutive weeks. They're acquiring much more ETH than is being issued during this time frame. It's like by a factor of 10. So, ETH network creates 1 Bitcoin. I'm sorry, ETH network creates 1 Ether. Wall Street buys 10. That's what we're looking at. Now, this is the Bitcoin dominance, ETH BTC chart. Remember, we drew this out yesterday. These are 4-hour candles. And if you look, we drew out the line. We're like, hey, watch the breakout. It looks like the breakout's coming. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so that was very similar to the XRP Bitcoin chart. We're kind of looking at the same thing. I do remember that. Breakouts happen. This is measuring the strength of ETH relative to Bitcoin. And looking at this, you're like, all right, man, I feel good holding ETH. This goes back to April. All right. Yeah, I feel good. You go to the weekly. Oh, I feel stupid. I feel dumb. But now I think we're all going to start feeling smart again. I think we're all going to start feeling smart. Yep. It's going to do that. It will do it. You're hearing it first from here. ETH, yeah, this person kind of looking at the same thing we're looking at. Arthur Hayes, looking at that same chart, says it's a $10,000 ETH. I don't know if we can go to 10. I see a lot of sell pressure at just a psychological level of 2x the previous all-time high, wicked above 4K, so a little bit above $8,000. All right, drink every time DZ says ADA. I'm gonna have a little sip of coffee. And if you want to join me and have a surge of serotonin, sip the coffee with me, and you're going to feel a little tingle in the back of your neck. It's going to wash over your whole body. It's just going to feel the flow of positivity. Let's all do it right now. Go. Oh, yeah, I feel it. I feel the power of the disco, fam. All right, let's move forward here, everybody. We have Binance founder. Man, he's doing the same thing everybody's doing. He's trying to make a treasury, and they're eyeing an IPO. The treasuries for his token, BNB. There are some insane CZ lore facts here we're going to get into. Mostly, what percentage of CZ's portfolio is Bitcoin? All right, I'm going to get into the article. Type in a percentage. Is it 99%? Is it 1%? Is it somewhere in between? We'll see who gets closest here. Maybe it's going to be you. What percentage, according to this, what percentage of CZ's portfolio is Bitcoin? Because, we do recommend, you want about a 50% allocation. I'm lower than that. I know I shouldn't be, but a lot of my stock holdings have Bitcoin exposure. And I'm trying to think of what other assets I might have that have Bitcoin exposure. So, but even if you include that, yeah, it's not 50%. It should be though. We got 85%, 80%, 69%, 75%, 40%. Now we got some people in the low areas. Some let's see here, 65, 75, 69.6. All right. So here we go. So how much Bitcoin does the man hold? Well, he's set to get a new treasury firm. It's going to give people exposure to BNB with the aim of going public in the US. It's for like stock traders to have BNB. Let's see here. So, should be coming in the coming week. So it's coming soon. However, CZ revealed 98.5% of his crypto portfolio was BNB without specifying the total value. 1.5% of his holdings is Bitcoin. That is insane. Now, I have a theory for this. I have a theory. He probably has a lot of Bitcoin. Hell, he might have $20 million worth of Bitcoin from like personal holdings, right? He's not like, Binance is making a lot of money. It's pulling in Bitcoin left and right, just making 1,000 Bitcoin a day, probably during, 21 hype cycle. Everyone's trading 2017, it's just making 1,000 Bitcoin a day. He just kind of kept it in Bitcoin, he kept it in Binance. He kept Binance growing. And so here's kind of why. He has $63 billion worth of BNB tokens. Supposedly maybe 64%. I think they may count equity within Binance as part of his holdings. And so, you could have $100 million in Bitcoin. And then you're like, oh my God, 99% of my wealth is in Bitcoin. I am such a Bitcoin bro. I got a backpack. I'm just a Bitcoin man. I'm going to eat Papa John's pizza. I love Bitcoin. And you got $100 million. Someone gives you $63 billion. Or you're like, oh, shit, I got 1% of my wealth in Bitcoin. And so that's my explanation there. Now, he is barred for managing Binance, but he's still the exchange's biggest shareholder. So that's my theory, $50 million, $100 million in Bitcoin, but then, the $63 billion kind of screws up the ratio there a little bit there. So, yeah, he could really mess up the BNB market if he trades any. Yeah, for sure. Him or he, the CEO. I just like saying the CEO's name. Yee-hee. All right, bro. I shouldn't have done that, huh? Oh, well, it's too late now. CZ has weird vibes this cycle. Not even going to get into what they said. Let's see here. 25. Dang, yeah, people are pretty just can't get over it, right? It's wild. They're bamboozled. They're shocked and awed. Terrible portfolio there. Are you smoking the dope? Is that a line from Super Troopers? You are freaking out. No, I'm thinking of the mushrooms. All right. Let's talk about the Pump token. Should you buy the Pump token? I like Miles Deutscher's take. Neutral to cautiously bearish. neutral to cautiously bearish. The reason I'm not just full-blown bearish is Hype's valuation is a lot higher than the Pump valuation. Pump's coming out at a $4 billion valuation. Hype, if we go look at Hype's what, 13 now? Something like that. This man knows his things. Hype is, if it'll work with me, not against me here, Hype is 13 billion. Fully diluted, 40 billion. And so Pump coming in with a $4 billion valuation. A lot of people are going to do the Hype math. They're going to look at Hype. They're going to look at Pump. They're going to say, well, dang, this shouldn't be, 1/10 of the value there. They both pull in good revenue. They both make a lot of money. Now, why am I? So that's why I would be bullish, right? Oh, 4 billion's low. Why am I bearish? I think I'm bearish because mostly it's because of Bonk. We got an article I'm going to get into. Bonk is overtaking Pump.fun. And so I think if Pump would have launched a month earlier, they'd be in a lot better position. But the way tech works and the way social networks work and just the way networks work, Metcalfe's law works. Metcalfe's law for a network says the value of a network is its node squared. And the way networks work is kind of like MySpace. Once your 8 friends, those who don't know, there's a precursor to Facebook. It was called MySpace. And on this insane social media site, you had to rank your friends at the top of the page, and you had to rank your friends in a top 8 ranking. And if all of a sudden friend number 7 and friend number 5 aren't on MySpace anymore, and you're like, well, what are you doing? They're like, I'm on Facebook. You might only have 2 of your 8 friends on Facebook and 6 of your 8 friends on MySpace, but you see a sinking ship and you see a rising ship. And so when you're mine, you're going to overvalue that. And so you're going to go over to Facebook. And so that's why I'm a little bit hesitant about Pump token. I think Bonk is stealing a little bit of a thunder, and it seems like it's a shift. It's a shift. And so I want to, I don't want to be the last person on the Pump boat. I want to be the first person off the boat. I want to be riding the Bonk charter, I guess. And so, it's coming out July 12th. It's going to be an ICO. The ICO gives it the $4 billion valuation. I'm going to be sidelines. If I had to guess what's going to happen, it's going to pump immediately because people are going to short the token. Those shorts have to get wrecked. So that's going to go up. When finally everyone's like I'm tired of shorting this token. I'm done. In fact, I'm freaking long in it. That's when it's going to start dumping. And I think you can get in at a $2.5 to $3.3 billion valuation. So that's my guesses here. Let's see. So, you can actually trade it already with leverage. Hype just launched one, and I want to give a big shout out to LBank. It is one of our feature sponsors here. They should be live with up to 50x. Hype is only going to be 40x. Pretty sure it's only going to be 40x. Hype. LBank's going to have 50x. Do not trade this. This is design. It's one thing to jokingly trade Fartcoin 50x. Fartcoin's, large market cap, and it's got a lot of eyeballs on it, a lot of attention. This is going to be designed to wreck you. The insane candle swings you're going to see for the first 24 hours, if you're going to trade that with leverage, do like 5x, 10x. So that goes live today, 12:20 UTC. So I'm not sure what time frame that is going to be on LBank. And folks, real quick, if you don't have an account, if you re-sign up or if you sign up, you get bonuses. They got some summer splash awards. I think this was just dropped about a week ago. So you still got a little bit of time. $30 cash back, no threshold. You trade. Oh, they have a spinning wheel, and there's a prize on every spin there. So big shout out to LBank. I'm almost scared to check my trades here. I'm almost scared, chat. I'm almost scared. Small trades. So actually, I don't even care. It's just small trades. And they're both up. One's up 18%. Did any of the other orders trigger? That one's up 30%. Okay, so I did get SPX, triggered an additional one. So I was like, all right, I'll throw a couple $100 towards the casino. So I did a $40, $50 bet on Fart, $40, $50 bet on SPX, and then I had a lower entry with an additional $40, $50. So that will double my entry and lower my entry cost. And then I have one more, which is doubled that. So that's 80 combined. So we have another $80, $100 entry down below that. And then after that, that's when you start watching your trade and you cut and run if you're like 20% out. So I didn't get the entries I quite wanted. It's just $40 and $100. So yeah, like 50, then 40. So you do that with some of these meme coins. You look at liquidation levels, and I was like, all right, well, these people are going to get wrecked. So I put some entry points there. Ding! I got in the trade, and so we're still riding it to Profit Town. I'll probably just close it after the stream, just take the win and walk away from the charts. So yeah, L Bank link is going to be down below. Let's talk about XAI. That was my DMX impression there. Paying for free gas money. I got a Tesla, so I'm paying for my electricity. Now, I like to say, just buy yourself a steak lunch every now and then. Hey, you know, I made a steak lunch. I'm going to go to Longhorn. What's the best chain restaurant to get a steak? Longhorn. I'm saying DZ says it's Longhorn. It is Longhorn. We're not going to count Ruth Chris. Yeah. So yeah, you know, hey, I made 30, 40 bucks. I'm gonna go get a steak lunch. You know, that's what I do. W the steak lunch there. Rough. Rest in peace, X. Rest in peace, X. Why did you smoke crack cocaine? That reminds me of a trending photo that's going around. I don't know if I'm going to talk. I'm not going to talk about it today. There's a photo of someone that used to be a major part of this channel. The man is in pain, and so I'm not gonna mention it. I could get into it, and I can clip farm it, and you know, I could use it for cloud. I'm not going to do all that though. Let's talk about XAI though. Southwest Texas Roadhouse, 100%. Longhorn. Okay, other people like the Texas Roadhouse. L Bank, I say follow all local rules and regulations. I use a VPN to set it up, and I've never used a VPN since. That's all I'm going to say. But follow all local laws and regulations, though. But yeah, that's for L Bank. VPN once, never again. But again, follow the local laws. All right, XAI teases Grok upgrades. We're not going to talk about Mecca, how it went off the rails 48 hours ago. This is like new news. Almost wonder if they like front ran some other news just to kind of shift the narrative about Grok here. But Musk says AI could discover new physics. This is crazy, crazy stuff here. So it's during a live stream yesterday. He says this is the 6th foundational model, and the 7th one is going to be completed in a few weeks there. And this one should fix weakness on the vision side. So when you like upload a photo. And he says he expects Grok to discover new technologies that are actually useful no later than next year, and maybe by the end of this year. It might discover new physics next year, and then within 2 years, I'd say almost certainly. There's a bunch of like math problems that people haven't been able to find solutions for. There's theorems, theoretical physics theorems that people don't have solutions for, and there's all types of possibilities. The way this will affect your life. This could create new alloys, new carbon fiber alloys. This create like lighter, stronger, denser materials. And people like Northrop Grumman and Boeing, they're going to be like, oh, we could use it to shield our tanks and stuff, or missiles and, you know, stealth, stuff like that. So during the live stream, he said AI will lead to an economy that is thousands of times bigger than our current economy, maybe millions of times. And he went as far as to reference the Kardashev civilization classification scale. You know, that old thing. What the heck is he talking about? And so it's a method of classifying civilizations based on their energy consumption. It's made by a Russian in 1964. And there's 3 main types. We're not even type 1. That's where you can harness and utilize all the energy on your home planet, including renewable, non-renewable, geothermal, fossil fuels, etc. Is going to be 10 to the 16th power as far as watts. 10 to 16, 10 to the 17th. Big difference. Humanity currently below type 1. We're around 0.7. Then we have type 2. And now we got the total energy of the sun. This is 10 to the 26th power. And then we have type 3. It got the whole galaxy. Roughly 10 to the 36th power. And this would use things like Dyson spheres. That's where you're going to get a circle of the Dyson vacuums, and you turn them on, and it's going to suck up the energy from the sun, puts it in a battery. I'm just kidding. Dyson sphere, there's no existing model, so it's all just like theoreticals and stuff. All right, now it's insane that he pulled it off again, absolutely crushing the AI wars. Here we have, I'm just going to kind of rank some of the things. So it has like different things. These are going to be like different types of tests. Hard graduate, you know, Harvard, MIT math quiz. I think this is for, I think the psychology. So this is going to be just different tests that humans takes. And so it's going to summarize the announcement. So Yeah, put in some money, whatever. So number one on humanities last exam, generally hard problems, 44%. Number two, 26.9. So look at the difference there, 44 to 26. Number one on hard graduate, 88.9. Number two, 86%. This math quiz, 100%. The next leading AI could only get a 98.4. Harvard, 96.7. Number two, 82%. This US math quiz, 62%. Other, 49%. And this one is a test that's hard for AI, 15.9%. Number two AI model, only 8.6. And also leading in coding as well. So this XAI is smoking the competition. I've said for a long time, and I'll continue to repeat it, is why I'm buying Tesla stock. If you bet against Elon, typically you lose. And I am not betting against Elon when it comes to the AI wars as well. I guess he did lose to the deep state, though. Oh, he just got DZ'd. We're talking about crypto or Alex Jones. I don't think we've gone too conspiratorial here, have we? It's going to be mind control chips and the 5G towers are going to turn the freaking frogs. All right, let's, I got a little SBF thing here, a little SBF thing. Remember that time SBF stole billions from customers in a massive fraud and gave 70 million to Democrats and 200K to Republicans, including millions for people like Maxine Waters, who blew him a kiss at the hearing he was invited to, Senator Maggie Hassan, and over 20 million to Joe Biden himself, boss of the SEC chair Gary Gensler, who then gave Sam a special audience no one else in the industry got. Then the Biden DOJ, as part of SBF's extradition deal, made sure that no campaign finance violations would or even could be charged, so not that a single politician would be investigated or charged with a crime, have any depositions or discovery, have to reveal anything to the public, or even have to return the stolen deck of millions of dollars. Remember, Pepperidge Farm remembers, DZ remembers, Disco Fam remembers. We all remember. This was the worst part. The extradition deal. They said, yeah, the Bahamas said we must remove this charge or they won't send them from their jail. Who bought that garbage? Who bought that garbage? That was obviously nothing to do with the Bahamas, everything to do with the State Department. Maybe State Department's not the right word. Maybe it was just the shadowy cabal of political fundraising. And to me, that kind of covers both sides. And to be fair, his co-worker gave a lot more than 200K net. They gave a lot more to Democrats, just to be, fair though. So, what was the other guy's name? Trabuco, I think. He's done some interviews and stuff. He's out of jail. Yeah, he gave a lot to Republicans there, just to be fair. Senator Warren, Donald Trump holds $7 billion in crypto, launched his own stablecoin, meme coin, owns a mining company. Eric, no, he doesn't own a mining company. Me and my brother own the mining company, he said. And then we also had Bernie Moreno educates former CFT chair on Bitcoin after he calls it a token. I'm not going to get into the whole script there, but yeah, interesting news. Should we close the trade? Should we close the trade? This is the story of a girl. Oh man, should have just maybe close there. We're gonna ride this one. We still got some lower orders. I'll watch the order books. Fart starting to go on a run. Fart probably not gonna get the other orders entered in. I'll just kind of tell you what I was thinking. I saw a little liquidity zone around this previous range. I think I jumped in on this 15-minute candle, and then I put some right about here we'll just look. 12.50 or $1.1250 and $1.1360 and $1.14. So I have another entry right here, 13.6 coming in to sweep the liquidity off that wick. And then what was the other one? 112.5. That's going to be this little liquidity zone as well. And then after that, that should be bulls in control. And obviously, if we see a larger structure breakdown or a weakened RSI on the 1 hour, I would cut and run and get out of that trade. So that's a little L Bank breakdown there. I know Josh does more of the trading. I just like to have a little bit of fun and get a little steak lunch. But it's so time consuming. I am thinking about seriously just like, all right, let me put 10K on there and, see if I can move that to 20 and maybe move that to 50. I just like making content for you guys. And on that note, folks, I do appreciate you guys hanging out with the DZ solo stream. Big shout out to Aaron controlling the cameras. I didn't move that camera. He just did that. So big shout out to Aaron Curry. Shout out to all the Curry fans out there. Didn't mean to dox your last name there, Aaron. But that's all I got for today. Hit the like button on the way out. And we'll probably have a trading vlog for you later. DZ out.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.